Before we get started with today's review, I want to formally apologize to the people that were sitting next to me during my A Quiet Place Day 1 screening. It was completely short-sighted and irresponsible of me to jump scare them every single time I bit into my nachos. Hey there and welcome to the channel. My name is Gil and today we are reviewing A Quiet Place Day 1. Written and directed by Michael Sarnowski and co-written by John Krasinski. The film stars Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quin. In A Quiet Place Day 1, a woman named Sam finds herself trapped in New York City during the early stages of an invasion by alien creatures with ultra-sensitive hearing. I'm not going to lie, as an AMC A-list member, the amount of times I watched this trailer before a new movie was exponentially large. I got to the point where I almost didn't want to watch this movie because of how many times this trailer was blasted into my eyes each time I went to the movie theater. It became tedious, monotonous, and boring for me. But I gotta say, boy was I wrong. I'm so glad that I went to go watch this movie. I'm a huge fan of the original film, written and directed by John Krasinski. We have never seen him do something like this, not only as a director, but as a writer and an actor on a big screen horror film like this. The original film was so unique in its concept and its execution that it had audiences everywhere captivated. This was such a unique movie-going experience for me. Everyone in the theater was silent the entire time. Because of the tension, because of the concept. Everyone was sitting at the edge of their seats wondering what was going to happen to this family in the Midwest because sound was so important. That movie had an amazing way of getting us connected to the characters, all without even saying a word throughout most of the first act of the film. And so, with the sequels and now this one, it was very interesting to see where they could take the franchise to bigger cities, bigger concepts, and A Quiet Place Day 1 is that big realization of what this movie franchise can be. The concept and the story of A Quiet Place Day 1 is very simple. You have a terminally ill character who just wants to go across the city to have one more slice of pizza. And in the midst of it, there's this giant apocalypse that we've seen from A Quiet Place Part 2 and from the first film. And the bond that this character goes on with another mysterious character trapped in the city is one that's extremely heartfelt, and I didn't expect to get so emotional over it. Both actors in this movie are doing some stellar work here. You have Lupita Nyong'o, Academy Award nominated actress, giving it her all in this post-apocalyptic story. And then you have Joseph Quin, hot off of Stranger Things, and is going to be the next big Hollywood it guy. Both of them have amazing chemistry in this film, although they don't have a lot of dialogue together. In fact, they both don't meet until probably about the 50% mark in this film. And for the rest of the entire journey, these two share a bond that I think oozes off the screen. And at the end of the film, you're going to be left as a puddle of tears. For a movie that has such a short amount of runtime, there's a lot of heart here. Probably more heart than what we've seen out of A Quiet Place Part 2 and Part 1. I really enjoyed this movie, and I might even say that I liked it a little bit better than A Quiet Place Part 1, which is my favorite of the three. If I had one hard criticism about this film, and it's a big one, and one that docks it down a half a star for me, it's that there are moments in this movie where there is a tense situation. We've all seen that big moment in the trailer where Joseph Quin goes onto a scaffolding to save Frodo the cat, who is adorable, by the way, and probably the biggest star in the entire film. But in that scene, Joseph Quin is up on the scaffolding with a bunch of the monsters underneath. However, that scene does not play out exactly the way I thought it would. Once he gets up there and gets the cat, it cuts away next to a scene where he's safely back in the safe house with Lupita Nyong'o. All the tension was completely cut from that moment, and we're left like, well, how did he get down? Like, what happened there? This happens on multiple occasions in this film, and it makes me really frustrated as someone who was so invested in these characters and these moments for them to cut away out of these sequences for a quick, cheap resolution. It knocked the entire film down an entire star grade for me. I would have graded this a lot more positively if it weren't for that, because everything else with the film is so well done. The pacing is right, the characters are done right, the sound design is right. But the editing choices are what really got to me with this movie in particular. Speaking of Frodo, I told myself going into this film, if anything happened to that freaking cat, this movie would get a 0 star and I would review bomb it. Just kidding. It really is a shame what they did with the editing job on this film, because other than those moments, this would have been a 4.5, maybe 5 star movie for me. But instead, I give A Quiet Place Day 1 4 out of 5. I like this movie a lot. I would have loved it if it wasn't for those moments and those little gripes I had. But I think you're in for a good time watching this movie. Hell, you don't even have to watch the other A Quiet Place films. You could just jump right into this one if you don't want to. The production design is great, the acting is great, and I love the tension that these movies give you in a movie-going experience. I wanted this to be one of my favorite movies of the year, but unfortunately, it barely misses the cut. If you watched A Quiet Place Day 1, what did you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, follow and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. Be sure to join the Discord right here on the QR code so you could join in on the discussions if you're a gamer or a film connoisseur like myself. I will be back next time for my Maxine review. Stay cool in this hot summer, and as always, go catch a movie.